Welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Dads. I'm Joey. We are a vegan, mostly whole food cooking channel. We do some product reviews. Sometimes there's some episode with Tim. If you like what you hear so far, please hit that like button. Show us some love. Please think about subscribing and becoming part of the Plant-Based Dads family. We do have a Patreon page set up. Our patrons are our monthly supporters that help us put the show together and get the plant-based message out to the public. If you've ever seen the show, or if you're in the Facebook group and you thought about how can I help, how can I be part of this, that's how you can help us out. You can become a patron, or we also have a PayPal link below also if you just want to do a one-time donation. Either way, we can use your support. We are in the last week of our February 21-day Starch Challenge. The Starch Challenge is where we commit for 21 days to eat high starch, low fat food. It's the Starch Solution, Dr. McDougall way of eating. We post our photos in the Facebook group. We cheer each other on. We try and stay focused on our mostly unprocessed way of eating for that 21 days. If you're interested in doing that with us, join the Facebook group. There's a picture of it right here. There'll be a link below the video on how to join the group and get started with us today. We have the challenges every month, so if you're too late for this month, which there's still a week left, so 7 days is better than nothing. But if you want to join us next month, that's fine. Or if you just want to join and watch us do this, just see how it works, that's fine too. Lurkers are always welcome. All right, in today's video, we're making one of my family classics, which is minestrone soup. Minestrone soup is so comforting when you're Italian. It just reminds you of home. It's hearty. It's filled with robust foods. It's got plenty of garden vegetables. It's got potatoes. It's got a little bit of pasta. It's got tomato paste and tomatoes in it. Like all those things I just love about being from Italian heritage. They're all kind of wrapped up into one meal, and that's minestrone soup. And normally, even if you have it like of the Olive Garden, whatever, it's one of the most lowest fat, lowest calorie foods they offer in the restaurant. It's because there's really nothing in it that's bad other than if they cook, the vegetables with the oil, which we're not doing. So we're making a whole food, plant-based version of minestrone soup, very close to the original that my family would make. This is a fairly simple meal to make, even for the novice cook. It's going to be made with things you already have in your kitchen, your fridge, that you probably buy on a weekly basis anyway, especially if you're into eating a lot of vegetables like we are. This is something you can make at home. This is something you're going to want to make at home, and it's a great meal to take to work with you. All right, let's get to the food. First, we're going to start with cutting our vegetables. I'm going to grab my Strong Gladiator Series mini Santoku knife here, my favorite thing to use for cutting vegetables. You can buy this same knife in the link below this video. I've got one yellow onion here that I'm just going to slice and dice, and I just want to get it into nice small pieces. You can see here, it's ready to go. Next, I've got about 4 to 6 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to do the same thing. A little slicing and dicing here, and I want to get these garlic pieces nice and small. And they're ready to go too. I like to cut my celery stalks in half so they're easier to work with when I have to slice them up. Here I am just dicing up my celery into small pieces, and it's pretty simple with my mini Santoku knife. Just gonna gather it all up and get it in the bowl. And next it's on to some carrots. We have sliced these carrots during the week to eat them with hummus, so I'm gonna use them up. I'm just gonna take the sticks that we've made and I'm just gonna slice them here. And you can see here now, all of our veggies are diced and ready to go. The soup's already starting to look good. And then I realized I didn't dice up the potatoes. I'm using 2 potatoes here. I didn't peel it or anything, I just washed them. And I'm just gonna dice those up into small pieces. Same thing here. This is the last thing I have to cut, so I'm just gonna leave them right on the cutting board here till later on when I need them. Let's start cooking. So now I've got my large sauce pot here, and I'm just gonna put some water in the bottom of the pot so I can water saute my vegetables. I'm not using oil. When that water starts steaming, that tells me that it's ready to throw the veggies in and start sauteing them. I'm gonna start off with my aromatics. The onions are going in, and I'm gonna throw in my garlic too at the same time. I'm gonna get those sauteing until the onions are soft and translucent. I'm just gonna give it a little mixy and make sure all of those have the opportunity to get sauteed and cooked. After about 5 to 6 minutes, they're nice and soft, and we can move on with the celery. I'm gonna dump in my celery pieces that I cut earlier, and I'm gonna dump in my diced carrots also. Now I'm adding a 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes with the juices. I'm not draining them or anything, just dumping the whole can in. Next, I'm popping in all the potatoes that I cut up. They're still on the cutting board, so I'm trying to get them in here carefully without losing any of them, because you know how I hate to do things twice. Now I'm going to grab my wooden spoon, and I like to use the wooden spoon here, not the silicone one, because the wooden spoon does a much better job of scraping the bottom. And I'm going to give this a little mixy. Now I'm going to let this saute for 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the heat setting. I've got it on medium here, so it's doing well, and I let it cook for about 4 minutes. If you need to add a little bit of water during this, do that. You don't want anything to burn. Next, I've got a 15-ounce can of white beans here. I've drained them and rinsed them really good, so all that gacky stuff is off from the can. I'm just going to dump them right into my pot here. And then I'm starting off with 4 cups of vegetable broth. You may need to add more as you go. I'm starting with 4 cups. And I also need a 7-ounce can of tomato paste, which I don't have. So we have these tubes. I'm just gonna put that in there and squeeze the whole tube in. This tube is 5 ounces, so I did this one and part of another tube. You can see here, it's all in there and ready to go. Now for my spices. I've got 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, a half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of dried oregano, and 2 bay leaves, ready to go. I'm just gonna dump this whole thing right in the pot. And I'm gonna grab my wooden spoon and give this whole thing a little mixy. Just wanna make sure everything kind of gets mixed together so all those flavors can get to know each other. Now I'm gonna change the heat just a little bit because it was already pretty hot. I'm gonna bring it up to a little low boil here. Once it starts low boiling, throw on the cover and set the timer for 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes is up, open up the cover and you should have a low boil simmering soup here. Just want to mix all this up one more time, and now it's time to throw in the pasta. I'm using congeli here. Really, this pasta is too big for this soup. I should have used something smaller, but this is what we had, so I just dumped it in. Won't try to get away, but that's money right there, so I'm grabbing that and put it back in. Now I'm gonna use my wooden spoon and give this a little mixy and get all that pasta incorporated. While I'm doing this, I can tell pasta needs a lot of water to boil and cook. I mean, I'm Italian, I know this very well, so I already know that I don't have enough water in this pot. So I'm grabbing some more water, and this is hot tea kettle water. It's boiling water. So it's the same temperature as what's already in here. And I'm just gonna pop this in there, and I'm gonna add as much as I think I need to throughout this process to keep the soup being soupy. I don't want a pasta salad, I want a minestrone soup. Everything there looks like it's nice and saturated, so I think we're ready here. Throw the cover on and let it cook for 10 more minutes, or whatever the pasta manufacturer says on the instructions. After 10 minutes, I took off the cover, and I'm giving it a little mixy here to see how everything's doing. It looks to me like some of the water has evaporated, so I still feel like I need more water, so I'm dumping in a little bit more. In total, I added another 4 cups throughout this whole process. Your altitude will be different than mine, so you're gonna just have to monitor this and see how soupy you like it. I like my minestrone soup to be soupy. All right, so once I got that extra water in there, remember this is boiling hot tea kettle water, I'm gonna mix all this up and put the cover back on for another 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, my pasta should be done at this point, and it's all looking really good. It smells amazing with those potatoes in there and the pasta and the carrots and the veggies. So good, I can't wait to have this. All right, so my last step is I'm gonna shut the heat off here. I don't need it on anymore. And I'm gonna take the juice of about half a lemon, and I just threw that in there. I use cubed lemons because our friend Deanne Chan gives me so many lemons every year. We just juice them in the cubes. So I always have cubes, I never have lemons, so this was half a cube. So I just dumped that in there, and we just give it a little mixy to combine the lemon juice. And now I'm gonna give it a little taste. I wanna make sure I get everything on this, some pasta, some celery, some carrots. I wanna make sure I know that it's all cooked. And it's a winner. We are ready to plate this up. Let's eat. All right, I got a nice white plate and a soup bowl to go with it. And I was just gonna ladle it in here, and then I decided that that's never gonna work. So I just took the bowl right up against the pot and got some in there. I didn't really want to get the soup bowl over the bottom plate. And then I was thinking, you know, Tim has some of that sourdough bread that he makes that's really good. So what about a little sourdough bread with my soup? And I sprinkled some basil on here just for color. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity to core up an apple and have that. So here's my lunch today, right? Of course, I can't stop fussing with it, but a beautiful bowl of whole food, plant-based minestrone soup, the kind you get at that famous Italian restaurant, but this one's made without oil, and it's all good for you. I am so ready to eat this. It smells amazing. And I mean, that's all there is to it. You can easily make this in the Instant Pot. I'll have Instant Pot directions for this recipe in the description below the video. There'll be a link to the blog where I put all the recipes, and I'll have Instant Pot directions on that. It's very simple. I still like to make it the traditional way, but I can understand why, I feel like every time I use the Instant Pot, people leave comments like, are you anything without your gadgets? Can you make anything without the Instant Pot? Yeah, I can make a soup right here. But really, I would probably prefer to make it in the Instant Pot. It's much faster. All right, take a look at this. You've got some amazing stuff in here going on. You've got these beautiful potatoes in there. You've got the pasta. You've got the tomatoes. You've got the vegetables. This just looks like a bowl of health right here. And this is a great meal. So the fact that it's filling and healing is just a plus for me. All right, I'm gonna give this a taste. I know it's good. I ate a lot of it while I was cooking it, but let me see what it tastes like here. So good, guys. Absolutely delicious. You saw when I was making this that I started off with the 4 cups of broth. As you cook it, the longer you cook it, the longer your pasta needs to cook, depending on, the pasta that you use, right? More water will evaporate, and your altitude has a lot to do with it. I wound up adding another 4 cups of water. You can make this with just the 4 and may not have the issue at all. I really wanted it to be soupy because that's how I like my minestrone soup. So when you make this, you're really going to have to kind of keep an eye on it. If you're adding more water, like I did in the video, hot tea kettle water, that's what you put in there because that's already the same temperature as the soup and you're not going to stop the cooking process. This is absolutely delicious. I love me some minestrone soup, and right here, this is the reason why. I could fill up on this. Minestrone soup. I mean, what else is there to say? It is a comfort classic. All right, that's our video for today. Please hit that like button. Show us some love. What's not to like? We got minestrone soup. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified every time we have a new video, usually every Monday. And leave a comment below. Have you done a whole food plant-based minestrone soup? Are you making this at home? It's still the winter. It's February. It was 77 degrees today, I'll give you that. But, for me in Arizona, that's still winter. And are you doing soups for the winter? I love soups for winter. I eat soups all year round, as you know. If you've seen any of my soup videos I make in the summer, you know that I do that. I don't care what the weather is. Soup is always the answer for me. But right now, in the middle of February, this soup is exactly what I'm looking for. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.